into this Friday edition of CBS Sports HQ, presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Jordan Giorgio, Emily Proud here, and October's supposed to be spooky season, right? But I'm calling it sports season because I am overwhelmed with everything we got going on.
I mean, the Mets last night, are you kidding me? Great for my parlay that is going on right now. And then Thursday night football, Kirk, I'm calling him like Clutch Kirk at this point, because what the heck was going on Thursday night football? It was so much fun to watch. It's just getting started. We're going to talk about all that and more, of course. But first, we begin in college football, where the Heisman Trophy odds just continue to shift. For the latest on things, let's go ahead and turn things over to our sports line analyst, Mackenzie Brooks. Mackenzie?
Thanks, Jordan. In order to understand Hunter's realistic path to winning the Heisman, we have to do a little casual reverse engineering here. He really needs this to remain a four-man race, which requires these three not running away with the reward, not being minus 2,000, not being minus 3,000 to win. So in order for this to stay a four-man race, you need a few things to happen. As far as Milroe, you need him to lose to Tennessee, essentially lose to Nico here, statistically and literally, but you also probably need him to lose one more game on top of that, just for safe measure. Now, good news for Travis is there is about a 75% chance that this cause of events does happen for Milroe. As far as Ward, as far as him not running away with this award, you need him to lose another game. If you're in the ACC, you have got to win out. You have got to win your conference championship. So essentially, he just needs to lose one more game here, okay? Now, that is also realistic. No matter how good your football team is, it is objectively hard to go undefeated. We give a 96% chance of Ward losing one game between now and that conference championship. As far as someone like Jeanty, again, Boise State, not one of those strong teams that we talk about a lot. So he also really just needs to lose one more game here in order to be out of this running, because the success of this team is really on his back. Now, great news for Travis Hunter is there is a 93% chance that Jeanty does lose another game. He has to play UNLV. He'll probably have to play UNLV again in the conference championship. So these are the three guys you need not to run away with the award. If you multiply these together, we essentially end up with a 67% chance that this remains a four-man race. That is what's important for Hunter, because in a four-man race, he should have the value here. When you look at the odds makers, they use really the same logic, but they understand that there is an injury risk and a health risk with Hunter here. So we have him around plus 350 on the board right now, but realistically, they would be setting it around plus 200. So I think you're getting value if you believe that Hunter can stay healthy, keep the pace he is at. The plus 350 right now could still be worth it. And Emily and Chip, I know that was a lot. Curious to hear your thoughts about the Heisman as well.
My mind is absolutely blown right now. This honestly feels like what we do during NFL playoffs, right? When we're like, these 7 teams need to tie, and then this team is on to the finals. Talking through the Heisman Trophy odds right now with Chip Patterson, a resident Heisman Trophy voter and host of the Cover 3 podcast. Chip, we just heard about all the things that Mackenzie just walked us through. There's a lot to take in there, but what do you think the likelihood of all of that happening is?
Oh, I think that we've definitely got the path there for Travis Hunter. And the likelihood really has to do, in my opinion, with how unprecedented of a Heisman Trophy candidate Travis Hunter is. So we've only got one example of a defensive player, right? Because we do have Charles Woodson. When he was at Michigan, he contributed in special teams. He had a couple of important catches in very big games. But ultimately, we're talking about a player in Woodson who only had, 14 receptions on the season in his Heisman Trophy winning year. And Emily, this is a top 10 wide receiver in all of college football with the production that he's put together. If he continues to be a top 10 wide receiver, while also being an All-American caliber cornerback, we just have not seen a player like that. And so that unprecedented nature means there is no magic statistic, means there is no magic path, because Heisman voters, oftentimes need to get drawn to something. And when you've got that, we have never seen anything like that before. Jalen Milroe, big dual threat body of work. We've seen that before. That's your Johnny Manziel path. Cam Ward, same thing. Big big statistics for a quarterback. We've seen that before. Ashton Jeanty has that Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram kind of path. But what I see with Travis Hunter is if he's able to continue to be a top 10 wide receiver while also contributing to almost every defensive stat and also getting interceptions and forced fumbles, being able to tell a Heisman Trophy voter who gets this ballot every single year, hey, we have never seen anything like this before, the Shohei Ohtani of college football, I think you're going to see something that maybe even the numbers can't even account for.
We saw this past weekend too, Chip. He's got the pose down. I think he knows.
Oh my gosh.
That was fantastic. I love to see that earlier in the season. They are on bye this week, but I'm curious just how much should Colorado's success as a whole be tied to his candidacy?
It is 100% tied to his Heisman candidacy, but they don't necessarily need to be the winners of the Big 12 and make the college football playoff, Emily. They just need to be in contention because there is a lot of the Heisman electorate. Remember, there's over 800 across the country split up into different regions, and there are a lot who just really want to see the performance in the biggest stages in the month of November. So what Colorado needs to do in terms of team success is be in the mix for the Big 12 title in the month of November so that those Big 12 title games at the end of Colorado's schedule are getting big time spotlight, a lot of national attention. So for Colorado, you're off to a great start, right? You beat Baylor, you beat UCF, you are 2-0 in conference play. And when you consider what record might get you into the Big 12 title game, where I think a 6-3 league record might be fair game, can Colorado go 4-3 over its final 7 Big 12 games? I think that is absolutely possible given from what we've seen in the last 2 conference games, but that is going to be the key. Colorado doesn't need to win the Big 12, but they need to be playing in the games with Big 12 title consequence in the month of November.
Yeah, just one of 3 teams who are 2-0 in the Big 12 right now. It also helps that we don't have a front runner in that league, so it's anybody's league at this point. Now, a guy that should really have no issue with his team being good is Jalen Milroe. He's currently #1 in the odds right now after that game. You mentioned that we've seen quarterbacks like him before, but we haven't seen him like this before. What's different about Milroe this year?
I think that he has totally elevated his game in terms of being able to deliver and be accurate with the gimmies. You know, we called him, you know, last year, it was either like a home run or take off and run or short stuff. But his improvement in the intermediate passing game has been a great reflection of Kalen DeBoer and what this new Alabama offensive staff has been able to do to unlock the best of Jalen Milroe. He's always had that speed. He's always had that ability to run. And again, the big arm we saw all the way back to the early parts of last season, even before Alabama went on to win the Southeastern Conference. And so now that he's got the full repertoire, I echo Kirby Smart in the wake of last Saturday night's game. What are you going to do? Like, are you going to bring more bodies in from the secondary to try to spy him and prevent things? Oh, no. Now you left Ryan Williams in one-on-one coverage. Are you going to try to put more bodies on Ryan Williams? Now Jalen Milroe can beat you with his legs. He is a unstoppable force. You can only hope to contain Jalen Milroe. And so I am fascinated to see how it plays from the Heisman perspective, but also for Milroe, a player who we will remember was 6th in the Heisman Trophy voting last season. He is the top returning vote getter of everybody from last year's Heisman balloting. So he's already on the minds of Heisman voters. That's one of the reasons why you saw, especially after the performance against Georgia, him be able to jump up and really grab hold of this race.
Kirby Smart even admitting at halftime that he saw some things that he wasn't expecting from Jalen Milroe, and they had to adjust in that second half. A guy who used to be at the top of the boards, Cam Ward, he's dipped down to 3rd in the odds after that really tight contest against Virginia Tech. So what does he need to do on Saturday against Cal to bump up his candidacy?
Well, I mean, in addition to win, right? I mean, like, don't let the mistakes that you had and got away with against Virginia Tech all of a sudden cost you a game as you were out there in Berkeley. So 1, win. But number 2, tighten it up. throughout Cam Ward's career at Washington State, small sample size, just 2 seasons, but he had some whoopsie-daisy to him. You know, our friend Tom Fornelli, he's got the whoopsie-daisy rate, your turnovers per snap. And Cam Ward had done a really good job of being able to limit the turnovers and limit the mistakes that we saw at the beginning of the season. And then what do we see early in that Virginia Tech game? A turnover leads to a quick Virginia Tech score. The Hokies get a little bit of confidence. And Ward really was a little bit looser with the ball in that performance. However, we still have all of the dynamic playmaking that Cam Ward offers. He doesn't have a ton of big stage opportunities. I agree with Mackenzie's analysis that given Miami's schedule, he needs to be able to run the table the rest of the way, you know, win the ACC, show out against Clemson's defense, because I just don't think there's a lot of games on Miami's schedule that are going to get that Heisman attention. So got to keep winning and got to tighten up on the turnovers, because those two things are linked. If Cam Ward's turning the ball over, Miami might be at risk of giving up a game to a team that they should beat.
So you do agree with Mackenzie Brooks saying that this is a short leash for Cam Ward? He can, if he loses one game, he's out of this.
Maybe. I hesitate to go like one loss and you're out. I mean, there's a lot of great data and there are a lot of great numbers that you can throw at us, but these are 800 plus humans from across the country who have to log in with their blood DNA and type in 3 names themselves. So it's an inexact science. So I'll never say never, but to me, Cam Ward's chances to win this thing, which includes beating out lots of other good candidates, really is on Miami being one of the best teams in the entire country.
It's also college football, which is pretty fickle, so we can't predict what's going to happen in week 6.
Yeah.
But that's what makes this conversation so exciting. The next thing that I want to ask you about, I'm really excited about, Ashton Jeanty. He's now up to 4th in the Heisman odds for Boise State. We don't see that very frequently for a G5 team. He has more 60-plus yard rushes this season than any other team. Chip, he has 5 of such rushes. Now, some might look at this as, well, it's a fun story. It's week 6. It's something to look at. But how legit are his chances to be in New York at the end of the year?
Oh, to be in New York? Very good. Because if Ashton Jeanty puts together a single season rushing total that ranks among the best of all time, he is going to collect so many 2nd and 3rd place votes that he will have a very strong case to make it to New York as a finalist. But what about winning the daggum thing? Because we actually discussed this on the Cover 3 podcast. So heading into the bowl game, Barry Sanders, who holds the single season record, had about 2,600. Melvin Gordon, a couple years ago, had about 2,600. So what we have decided is that for Ashton Jeanty, understanding that there is a handicap playing at Boise State versus if you were at Wisconsin or a big power conference school, but if he comes out there and he throws like 2,700 yards at the end of conference championship Saturday, throws himself among the best ever individual single season rushing records. That is, again, like the Travis Hunter case, something that I think Heisman voters will be very attracted to. And in case you don't want to have to do the math, he's on pace for about 3,000. So we're expecting that maybe they might let up, but maybe they won't. Where is that single season rushing total when the Heisman ballots are due? If he is near 26 or 2,700, or if he is threatening the Barry Sanders record, well then yes, Ashton Jeanty, extremely legit Heisman Trophy contender.
Not just the workload, too. I mean, he's averaging a first down every time he touches the ball. He is a cheat code for that Boise State offense, and hope to see him continue that success this year. Chip Patterson, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. You can check out the aforementioned Cover 3 podcast. You can watch now by scanning that QR code and, of course, listen wherever you like to take in your podcasts.